All right, I had a blast watching this movie, but I gotta ask, how daunting is it to take over a role from Jason Statham?
It wasn't something that I was really preoccupied with, so no, it wasn't really daunting at all. You know, the daunting part for me was, well, the pressure was, you know, from the inside. I want to make work that I'm proud of and that fulfills me creatively, and so that's where the pressure came from.
Now, there are some crazy fight scenes in this film. I know you said in one interview that your pants may have been a little too tight one of those days, and there was an accident on set. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I begged my costume assistant to let me wear my hero suits. We had hero suits and we had stunt suits.
Okay.
And there was even a number of stunt suits in different sizes so that we could fit different pads on them, you know. And so, you know, in the scene, parking garage at the beginning, at the beginning I walk up and it's dialogue based, and then I go straight into the action. Now, a lot of the time we did the dialogue separately. So I would wear the hero suit, and then we'd go to the stunts, and I'd wear the stunt suit. This one they wanted to run the whole way through, so I said, please let me wear your suit so that I can look slick at the beginning, as you know, and then throughout. And she kind of looked at me like, you're gonna get me in a lot of trouble, but okay, don't tell anyone. And then, you know, true to form, second take or whatever, I did a big kick and ripped open the behind, and yeah, I made sure that her head of department knew that it was my fault.
Because now you're telling everyone.
It was all on me. So yeah, no, it was all on me. But we had a laugh about it, you know.
And from a choreography standpoint, how much training? How long was the training for those?
There was a phenomenal amount of training, you know, which was something I relished and loved, and you know that was where the hard work was. I arrived in Paris 3.5 weeks before the shoot.
Okay.
You know, I would go to Alain Figlar's dojo, to his gym, and we would spend from 10 o'clock in the morning to 6 p.m, if not to 7, you know, until they could kick me out the door. They'd physically remove me and boot me out because I loved it so much and wanted to, you know, learn. And we did that for 3.5 weeks, you know, and then I continued to train like that throughout the whole shoot. And, you know, there was no weight training or anything based on aesthetics. It was all functional, it was all martial arts, it was all for the shoot, and it was great fun.
Now, a lot of people, when you stepped away from Game of Thrones, would have thought, what a crazy move that is. But now you've gone on, you're, you know, the lead in this franchise, you are the main bad guy in Deadpool coming up. Do you have moments of what if I had stayed, or are you really happy?
Contrary to reports, I didn't walk away. You know, I wouldn't walk away. There's very few things in my life I've walked away from, you know. But this is a complicated industry, and, you know, there's always politics involved, and you know, I never really look back. You know, I've had lots of, my journey's been unorthodox in many ways, you know, and, you know, all I do is count my blessings and try and stay as present as I can, and I'm thankful for every step of this journey.
And now looking ahead at Deadpool, I know the director of that said you were insane when it came to training for that film too. How did that differ, and what was it like finally getting those fight scenes with Ryan? Because they look crazy in the trailer.
It was amazing, and you know, me and Ryan had incredible chemistry. You know, his stunt doubles, Adrian and Alex, are phenomenal and two of the best stunt guys I've ever worked with. But you know, working with Ryan, we had this synergy. You know, a lot of the time they don't want to pair actors together, especially leads, because you know, we're not stunt guys. We may make a mistake, and if we make a mistake and break each other's noses or knock a tooth out, it's a lot of money and you know, jobs on the line. And well, you know, there was one day where the first day that we were in together, you know, and they put Ryan up with my double, and I was like to Tim, get me in there, put me in. You know, I've done all this training, I'm ready. Like, you know, we'll be fine. Let me in there, let me in. And they were hesitant to put us in. We did like 2 takes with the double, and I was like, get me in there now. And I went straight in, and we had a great synergy. And after that, we stayed, the two of us, for the whole day. And I remember Ryan saying to me, like, you know, I've had such a great time getting beaten up by you, and vice versa, you know. So it was a joy. It was just great to build on the foundation that Alain Figlar's taught me on this movie, you know, and his team, Stéphane and Laurent, and the guys, you know. It was great to build on it, and I'd, you know, phone them or email them and be like, you know, wait till you see what I'm doing in Deadpool, you're gonna be so proud. And you know, so you know, we have this long-term relationship. You know, those guys were my first trainers. You know, they built the foundation. You know, it's great to be able to work with Bob Breen, Phil Silvera, Rob Alonso. The guys from Deadpool is incredible. You know, they've kind of stepped it up to a point, but you know, Figlaz and his team, they made the foundation we built this house on.
Well, I can't wait for people to see you in this, and I can't wait to see Deadpool. So
Thank you,
very
sir.
nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.